We're back, folks. Happy 8? Is this the 8th time we've done this already?
Oh, who can keep track? Who knows how to count anymore?
Yeah, and it's 8 too. That's pretty fucking high. And we've got another guest. Episode 8 guest today, the one and only Noah Asklar.
How you doing, folks? Thanks for having me.
Unbelievable.
What are you shaking your head at? Yeah, Andy's already got something up his sleeve.
I just can't believe we were able to get him. I can't believe that we were able to.
Super busy schedule right now. Just gardening my papa's grandpa, or my papa's grandpa, my papa's garden.
How old's your papa's grandpa?
Oh, dude, he's pushing like
200,
I think. He's 200.
Wow, that's greatest generation.
But yeah, it's been crazy, man, with this COVID. Just so busy, super busy.
I've seen that you've been out there like gardening your grandpa's stuff. He's got a pretty big area there, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean it's like those Elmwood houses where they're all smushed and then it scoots to the back and it's like real elongated. Big part's the dock.
Yeah, and he's got shit everywhere. I feel like.
Oh yeah,
it's good now. But there's shit everywhere. There's 17 bird feeders.
Not enough. We got to get into the 20s.
Yeah,
I was thinking 50s, dude. We gotta set records or something.
Well, here's the real question: how many species of birds are there? Because every one needs to be represented.
I'd say I'd probably see like 8 daily. Like I could probably rip some off right now.
Wow.
What do you got?
Oriole.
Everybody, welcome back to the podcast. To our guest today, avian expert, bird expert, Noah Asklar.
What else we got? Hummingbird. Saw a hummingbird yesterday.
That's cool.
We thought we saw a murder hornet the other day, but
shit!
Those things are huge, dude. Those things are like I don't know if they're 4 inches or like 4 centimeters, but those things.
Yeah, they're fat.
I was looking at like comparison, and because we thought we had one, it wasn't even close. It was like barely an inch. Like those things are huge.
Really? That's crazy, Matthew. Wasn't it yesterday, 2 days ago? You thought you guys got a murder hornet at the lumberyard.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't a murder hornet, but it was.
You should try and get out
we get a ton of just random stuff shipped to us from God knows where all over the world, and there was this huge pallet full of chlorine, like pool chlorine containers that people buy, and plastic wrapped inside the pallet was this giant bee. It was like a bumblebee. It wasn't a hornet, but it was pretty big. So I was claiming murder hornet seen first confirmed in New York at Guy's Lumber.
So there's none in New York right now?
No, I think they're all West Coast, like Washington, like
nice.
Seattle, I think. And they said that maybe East Coast within 2 years. Who knows, man? Not that I ever want to run into one. Yeah, 2 years. Not that I ever want to run into one, but
wow.
I'm not really that worried about it.
I was laughing at your Georgia story because like I was thinking it's just like the same thing with like in Fredonia. Like if you've been to Sunny's, dude, you can't get COVID. Like you're invincible. Like same thing with like those states. Like because like Savannah, Georgia's a little different. I've been to Savannah, Georgia. I've never been to like kind of the parts where you were, where they're straight up like
Dalton, Georgia.
Yeah, they're straight up. There's nothing out there for a while. You got your 5 fast food restaurants, nothing else.
The damn RVs count as real buildings there. Or whatever.
Yeah, oh my god.
The double wides.
Double wide. Yeah.
That's
double wide.
Double wide.
That's penthouse. That's penthouse, baby. No, can you turn your mic up a little bit over there? Just a little.
Yeah, give me a second.
Just give it a shot if you can. Thank you.
Yeah.
Man.
My bad.
Yeah.
I was watching.
Go
ahead, Matthew. No, that's all right.
Well, I was going to say, on top of the murder hornet basis, I don't know if you guys saw now that since there's not enough garbage, there's not as much garbage in New York City because the restaurants and stuff aren't open. So there's been a lot of cases of cannibalistic rats, like rats eating each other, I have some rat stories. So, but yeah, I guess rats get cannibalistic when they don't have enough food, and I can confirm that. And so now rats are just eating rats all over New York City.
What do you mean you can confirm that? I don't think I'm gonna like where this goes.
How do you have more than one rat story?
You wanna know
live
about
in the
rats?
fucking house that he lived. That's
yeah.
How
you told me about that. I heard about that. Shit. That one was poking.
Yeah. So
out.
we had a little bit of what an infestation, we'll call it.
Casual.
Rat infestation. And yeah, when you clean areas out and rats are living somewhere and they lose their food source, they get cannibalistic. So rats would get trapped in the rat traps that the exterminators would set in our basement. But the exterminator would come back to clear the traps and reset them, and only the heads of the rats would be there.
Really?
Because the other rats would then...
This is literally Rat Fight Club.
Yeah.
I have an off-camera story about rats. Because it's that gross. I don't want people...
No. I've heard...
It's Andy,
what?
Noah's mic, is it good? It sounds good to me. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go.
Okay, turn it up a little bit. I didn't know.
Yeah, I've heard stories of the rats, like, just only the tail is left and stuff when, like, one gets caught in a trap and the others are, like, still around. During Christmas, I think it was, Noah and I were talking about rats for some reason, and I told him what a rat king was. You'd never heard of it. Do you remember what a rat king is?
No.
With the sticky, Bicky sticky, That's Rat King. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he does.
Andrew, I don't remember.
Well, whenever I think of Rat King, because that's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles character from the cartoon. There was a guy named Rat King, and he lived in the sewers with the rats, and he'd like fight the Ninja Turtles and stuff. But a Rat King is like a real term, and what happens is it happens in sewers a lot. But it can also happen on ships where, sort of what you were saying, Matthew, they lose their food source and they go crazy. Like, even on some abandoned ships, like, there will be generations of rats that breed on these ships and there's nobody new coming on them. They're completely abandoned. And they get, like, super fucked up. And so, anyways, a rat king is when... This disclaimer, this is gross for anybody listening. A rat king is... when there are so many rats like in an area crawling over each other and stuff that their tails get intertwined and they get all stuck together in these massive rat balls, and then as they like move about sewers or wherever they are, they just are acquiring more and more rats into this massive rat king rat ball. Yeah, it's...
I didn't want to remember that.
No, see, that's kind of cool.
I don't think that's cool. That's fucking gross.
Rats are fucking gross.
It's
rats and skunks, dude.
You've never killed one with your bare goddamn hands, then.
Jesus
Christ.
I've
never killed one with my hands. I've killed a few with hockey sticks. I've snapped a few tape to tape in my day, and
God, that's crazy.
Yeah, rats are no good.
I kind of glad that Noah's the guest on this episode because I saw something the other day that made me think. And I want to tell you this, Matthew. I was watching, there's this show on Disney Plus called Prop Culture, and it's a cool show. It's this guy, he goes around and he like looks at different props from like classic Disney movies and stuff. And a lot of the show takes place in the Disney Archives, which is like a couple warehouses. You know the warehouse in Indiana Jones where they put the Ark? That's the Disney Archives. Like, that's what it looks like, basically.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
It's awesome. And so they're showing just kind of like establishing shots and like just cutting real quick while he's on his way to see like some fucking horse from Mary Poppins or something. And one of the shots in the background, you can see the Liberty Bell that they used in the National Treasure movie, in the first National Treasure movie. And we have to steal it.
Fun fact about the Liberty Bell, it got moved.
Yes, that's a great fact.
It was a National Treasure joke.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day, I gotta rewatch National Treasure, because like when I first saw National Treasure, I feel like it's gonna be how when I first saw the Star Wars movies and then went back and watched them. Because like when I went back and watched the Star Wars movies, I was like, I can't believe this like amazed me when I was younger. Like the CGI is so bad. Like all like Jar Jar Binks, like all those scenes are so bad.
Jar Jar.
Nick Cage too is hilarious. I want to give myself like a Nick Cage take of, because that's probably his best, one of his best movies, The National Treasure.
Excuse me. We've had this
conversation. I gotta go back and look.
Yeah, we've had this conversation a little bit before.
Like nonstop.
I don't know. Yeah, because You will be pleasantly surprised at how good National Treasure is.
Absolutely.
That movie is
I still
unbelievable.
agree.
And have you ever seen the second one?
I don't remember it at all.
Oh, you gotta watch the
Book
second
of
one.
Secrets,
The second one.
Noah.
Book of Secrets is off the charts. They don't make them like they used to. That's.
I
all I'm
remember
saying.
I enjoyed the first one, like to the point where we all used to watch them.
Yeah,
I mean, that was like a. That was
there's
a
an
big
entertainment factor for young kids, but then you can get obsessed. That's all I'm saying. you know, history comes alive in those fucking movies. It's unbelievable.
I guarantee you, dude, like, Matt sits up at night, like, 3 a.m. on Reddit just scrolling through National Treasure
Oh my God.
theories.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
he's probably
I'll
the admin leader of the National Treasure theory.
I've been upvoted so many times. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
verified on the National Treasure Reddit.
You got
Have
the
you
gold
been
star.
on it? I mean, I'm sure there is one, but
Gotta
have you
be.
been on
Yeah,
the
of
on the
course,
Reddit?
I've been on it. Well, how do you
That's
think?
so crazy.
Because you have to. I mean, that's why I say there's a lot of good takes about the second movie. I talked about it when we were on Film Juice. I want to go on Film Juice and do the second movie because there's so much more to be discussed because it ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about National Treasure many times on this podcast, as I'm
How
sure
can you
you're
not?
aware, Noah.
I have a question
but,
for you, Andrew.
Yeah. What's up?
About your whole Twitter thing you got going on. What's
Oh,
up with this?
shit.
I don't know anything about it. The only thing I know is that you've been throwing some weird shit up on your Instagram story. I don't know anything about what Scoob is. I don't know. I have no clue. So you give us the rundown.
We're just trying to get more eyes on the project.
What is the project? I don't even know what the project. No, do you know what it is?
No, I've been seeing it. I was just about to. You beat me to it.
So.
All I saw was a red shirt, Shaggy, which is like what was that, like a rare version of him?
Ooh, okay. So damn, I almost said before we started, or I meant to yesterday. I was thinking about this. I was gonna say before we started that I was not ready to publicly discuss what I've been doing on Twitter.
It's too late.
Because
we threw you into the fire, buddy.
because
Let's
I
hear it.
wasn't finished with the joke, but at this point I'm basically done with it. I was gonna do one more thing, but it's not that good, so I mean, fuck it. I came home from work one day and my girlfriend was working nights, so I was home alone, and I was on the phone with our good pal Sam Phillips, friend of the podcast, and
Friend of the pod.
we were just kind of talking, and I was like, fuck, I'm so tired, like I just want to watch something. Like, what can I watch? And Scoob is conveniently available now on video on demand and Amazon Prime for rent or
That's
buy.
an ad. That is an ad.
So I was
It's
like,
an ad read.
I'm gonna watch
What
Scoob.
is it? A movie?
Oh yeah, Scoob is a movie. It's the new Scooby-Doo animated movie. They've got Zac Efron is Fred Jones, Will Forte
Good
is
Fred.
Shaggy, Amanda Seyfried is Daphne. Unfortunately, I can't recall the actress that plays Velma.
That's kind of like a studied cast.
Well,
Yeah.
oh
Like,
my God, I've got
I wasn't
so
expecting
much.
to know any of them.
I
Zac
know.
Efron.
So, like a couple years ago, they said they were going to do this, do this new Scooby-Doo movie, and the whisper throughout was that because there's not just the Scooby-Doo characters in this movie, there's a few other Hanna-Barbera characters, and Warner Brothers said when they announced Scoob that this is going to be our first dip into what's going to become, pardon me, a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe. Yeah, so what does that
That
even
could be
mean?
interesting.
Well,
I have no clue what that means.
So I'm on the phone with Sam, and I'm like, I think I'm going to watch Scoob. And it's been getting bad reviews. It's not doing well critically in the slightest. And he's like, Andrew, don't watch Scoob. That movie's going to fucking suck. And I was like, no, I got to watch Scoob. So I start it. And 5 seconds in, it's just this, in a very cliche way.
Don't ruin the movie because now I'm gonna watch it.
So, in a very cliche way, it opens on like a cityscape, or well, first like the Warner Brother logo like floats in, and California Love starts playing, And when it happens, it's kind of like, oh
Banger.
God, this is nothing against the song, but it's like, oh fuck,
It's just
this.
not, like
Yeah.
it's they're missing out there. Like the kids watching that, like the diehard, like younger kids are not gonna know what that song is.
Yeah, so I was like, oh boy, we're in for something here. So I didn't have a Twitter account. So I was like, oh my gosh, I thought it would be so funny if I made a Twitter solely dedicated to promoting the movie Scoob, which I am in no way officially affiliated with. And so I live tweeted the whole movie, and I've just been telling people, because people have like texted me and asked me, they've been like, hey man, what's the deal? Like, what are you doing? And all I've been saying is, we're just trying to get more eyes on the project. We just got to get people watching this thing, So we just got to get more eyes on Scoob. So
That's how you hook them in, though, dude. You got to keep them like curious.
Yeah.
It worked. I mean, think about it. You got people texting you; they have no clue what you're talking about. You should just start selling random merch and just be like, "Yo, $5, I'll let you know." You get a shirt out of it too.
So I did. I live tweeted the movie Scoob, and then I decided the next day, because it was so funny, and like nobody followed the Twitter account. 7 people followed it. I don't know if that's gone up in like I haven't checked it in like a long time, like days, but 7 people followed it, and I was like, this is the funniest thing in the world. Just to me, oh my God, I was just making myself laugh so hard. And so after I live tweeted Scoob, I decided the next day to live tweet Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, which I think is the best
Great
animated
movie.
Scooby-Doo
That's
movie.
the classic, right? That's not
Yeah,
the new
yeah.
one? Okay.
That's an awesome movie. And I was like, if you still haven't seen Scoob, let's prep for it. Oh my gosh. So the first night when I'm live tweeting Scoob, I'm firing off tweets about Scoob because we got to get more eyes on the project. And so I had tweeted about 50 tweets rapid fire with the hashtag Scoob. And I open up the Twitter app to do another thing. And I get this message that says, you need to give us your phone number to verify that you're not a robot because you're using the hashtag Scoob too much. So that's one of the things
you almost
I tweeted
got put in
that
Twitter
night.
jail.
Seriously.
Yeah, Twitter jail is not the place to be.
Oh my God. So I guess the cat's out of the bag now, but I do stand by the final tweet about Scoob, which was red shirt Shaggy. It's different. Because there was a period where Shaggy wore a red shirt. And in those days, it was basically just, those were a lot of the movies where it was just Shaggy and Scooby and Scrappy-Doo. The rest of the Mystery Gang wasn't...
like the one where they go to the orphanage or whatever.
The
You know what I'm
Ghoul
talking
School?
about? Yeah, the Ghoul School.
That movie...
That's a flick.
Yeah, I've obviously been thinking about this a ton. Because to promote the project, hashtag Scoob 2020. So
Get more eyes on it.
we got to get more eyes on the project. So I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I think that top 4 Scooby-Doo animated movies are Zombie Island at 1 for sure, and then probably Ghoul School, Alien Invaders, which is Ghost.
What's the one? Which one's Zombie Island?
That's the one where
At the end, the monsters are adults, and
What?
yeah, that's it.
The monsters are
Is that-
adult. Is that
Yeah.
every Scooby movie?
Yeah, that was
Yeah. I thought that. Okay, what is the Scooby Doo movie that's? It's not an animated movie. It's the one where they're out. There's a volcano.
The live action one.
Yeah.
The first
There's a
Scooby-Doo?
volcano. I don't know.
Probably Scooby-Doo. It's got Freddie Prinze Jr. in it. If it's live action, there's only 2 live action Scooby-Doo movies, and they've got the same casts because the one's a sequel.
All I know is they were on an island and they had a volcano.
Okay, that's probably Spooky Island. That's the first Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it's
Live action
Really,
movie.
it's probably spooky. I said island and volcano, and you couldn't put together that it was.
I was
Spooky
trying
Island.
to. I was trying to let you figure it out for yourself.
I was
Matthew.
never going to figure it out.
If I just lead you down every path, how are you going to learn? You're just going to.
I was never going to figure it out.
But yeah, so I'm probably not going to do that anymore.
What is the final? So how was the movie? What is your final rating on the movie?
Okay, let me say this.
Give me your non-ad version, like you're honest.
Well,
genuine.
first, we want eyes on the project regardless. You have to watch Scoob.
You can't knock
If
it.
you haven't seen it yet, fast forward 30 seconds. All right,
Okay.
what is it? What's the score of the movie?
I'm going to make a statement right now, officially saying that my official, unofficial partnership with the film Scoob 2020 is cut off.
Done. Okay.
It's not happening anymore. That movie was bad. It was not good. Here's the thing. One of the things that I tweeted, and I think you guys will know what I mean. You know how, like, I don't know if they were on Twitter, but on Instagram, I saw so many, like, close-up pictures of, like, the shirts of Pixar characters, like, especially when Incredibles 2 came out. You know what I mean? Did you guys see those? Because they're so detailed.
I know what you're talking about, but no.
Yeah.
Like, I understand what you're trying to say, but I've never seen them.
But there were a ton of people just, posting pictures of, like, it'd be close up on Mr. Incredible's shirt, and you can see every fiber. And those went, like, pretty viral, I would say. And so it looked to me like the animators on Scoob, like, Warner Brothers gave them that note, and they just focused so much on the clothes and not on, like, the characters' faces, because Fred looks like a porcelain doll. But I can see every stitch on fucking Shaggy's corduroy pants.
I definitely feel that because, dude, the other day I watched it's Morgan Freeman. I think it's called Kiss the Girls. It's an Alex Cross book, which is a James Patterson. Your mom reads them. They're good. But it's like, dude, the first half of the movie was great. And then it's like all their money ran out, and the second half of the movie, dude, was just like so shoddy, and like to a point where me, who knows nothing really about production, was just like, come on, like you could just tell, like they just ran out of steam. Like from literally the second half of the movie was like dog shit compared to the first. Like some of the cuts were like people were moving places they shouldn't have been able to move that fast. Like literally, like people I know could have shot the second half better. It was just insane.
Wow. Moving around like final season of Game of Thrones or second to last.
Yeah, literally,
like that kind of
like to a point where you could tell.
Yeah, ooh, that is rough.
It's like also, have you seen The Room?
Oh yeah, of course.
Has Matt seen The Room?
I have not. What's The Room? Who's in it?
Oh boy,
I'm bad with names.
It just brought me. It reminded me because of Scoob, and it's just one of those ones. It's so bad that it's funny.
Yeah,
but
Scoob is not like that.
The Room is famous for being like the worst movie ever.
Yeah.
Like the dude, and there's like a mystery behind it too. Like the main character is also the director and the producer, and he gets like this spot, like, yeah, and the writer. It's supposed to be like a screenplay, dude. Like there's like 4 like sexual scenes in the first like 20 minutes, and they are so awkward. And then it moves to like it is literally like we could do like a better movie on our iPhones, like just record. Like it is and it's all in one like building. It's like all in one building.
That's crazy.
Dude, they're playing football with gloves, and the way they're throwing the football, dude, is like it just makes you want to cringe.
And they're wearing tuxedos.
Yeah. Oh my god! And then the one dude gets injured.
Well, it's just
so bad.
Fucking A. I mean, if The Room has been talked about so much, especially since James Franco made a movie about the making of The Room, which is hilarious, Disaster Artist. But
I didn't see that yet.
It's good. But yeah, The Room has been talked about on every possible internet type of outlet for the last couple of years. So there's if you want to look into it, you definitely can, and it's
definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty strange.
It's like worth a watch just to see how bad it is.
Oh yeah, you'll laugh regardless.
Yeah, it's
there's no way you won't laugh.
An experience that I don't think you'll ever forget.
So you paid for Scoob, Andy? You had to pay to watch it?
Yeah, I Yeah, I was hoping we'd skip over that bit, but yeah, since it was supposed to be released in theaters, you can rent it for $20. So I paid $20 to rent it and watch it.
$20?
Yeah, and for me, it was worth it because I just
You
had
got
so
hours
much
of entertainment
fun.
out of it. Yeah.
Dog, $20 is my Taco Bell order.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Taco Bell?
That's a lot of food at Taco Bell.
It is. It's disgusting. I'm pretty much banned myself from Taco Bell. But it's 2 steak quesadillas, a steak quesarito, 2 things of chips and cheese, and a large Baja Blast freezer. Comes to $20.05.
There you go.
So gross.
I mean, that's not as much food as I was expecting, though. Those are just pricey Taco Bell items.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I could
exactly.
eat that 100%.
Yeah.
But I just,
$20, Andrew.
Yeah, you're sick for that.
It was
You are
so
sick
worth
for
it.
that.
It was so worth it. It was so funny. So I'm not doing hashtag Scoob anymore. But I made the Twitter account so quickly that I don't really know what the @ is. It's either a lowercase L or an uppercase I, and then capital A Andrew Canada.
Why the letter beforehand?
It was an accident. I was typing so fast because I had already rented it. The movie was happening, and I knew I needed to, get it
Yeah.
out there. I needed to get more eyes
Get
on the
those
project
live
as
tweets
soon as
in.
Yeah,
possible.
you need to get more eyes on the project as soon as possible.
So it's
Rightfully
really,
so.
really hard to find me on Twitter.
Well, I had no clue what was going on. All I saw was your Instagram stories.
Yeah.
You'd post 4 a day. One of them would be for the podcast, and the other 3 would be tweets about hashtag Scoob. And I had no clue what Scoob was, so none of it made any sense to me. And I was like, "What is this dude up to?" So I'm glad that we
That's how you
finally
get
got
drawn
this.
in. You gotta
God.
keep it.
Yeah.
You gotta.
And
you
now
can't
I'm
know what
sitting
it's
here.
about.
If you would have told me $3.99, I'd watch that movie tonight. But $20, come on, I can't
Yeah.
spend $20.
It's not worth it, but let me say this.
No.
Again, about the Hanna-Barbera Cinematic Universe, Tracy Morgan plays Captain Caveman, and they need to do a Captain Caveman movie. I said it. I tweeted about it. They need to do a movie that's just Velma and Captain Caveman, because that's your fucking movie right there. Not the rest. Whatever. That's a huge missed opportunity, but...
Well, let him know. Get on board. Tell him you'll get eyes on the project.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, we're just trying to get more eyes on the project. Trying to get as many
That's
people
all you
as
can really
possible.
do. Just get it, exposure out there.
Yeah, exactly. As many people watch Scoob. If I make even one person watch the movie Scoob, if I could get one person to spend $20 to rent that movie, oh my God, that's worth it. That's so funny, man.
Warner Brothers always do something, huh? Really? So, I don't know. All right, I've talked enough about Scoob because
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't
Fuck
want to
Scoob.
have to spend $20 on it, but the more that we discuss it, the more it's going to make me want to watch it.
Oh my God. If you decide to watch it, Noah, you too. Honestly, anybody listening, just text me. If you decide to watch it and you want to live tweet it off of my Twitter account, I'll give you the login. You can just do it.
Well, if he watches it, I'll probably just crawl over. I'm not spending $20. I'll get that free discount. I'll slip him a $5 and
Scoob
bring
watch
over, a
parties.
case of beer. Yeah.
Scoob
Yeah.
is the
Do it in the backyard with a
distancing
projector,
movie.
dude.
I'll start a GoFundMe. I want to watch Scoob.
Yeah,
$20
dude, that'd be
GoFundMe.
amazing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You should
I
really
really-
get the stats to see how many people legitimately paid money and watched that.
Doesn't
That'd be
sound like a
interesting.
lot.
I don't know, but it did.
You're definitely
'cause
part of a rare or a limited amount of people.
My name is on a list.
Yeah.
They go to meet. They're gonna have.
You're gonna
meetings
get
every
an
Wednesday
email and
down
they're
the
gonna be
line.
like, "Thank you so much for downloading this."
I'm not allowed to fly Delta anymore.
We see that you've recently watched Scoob. Like they're trying to get people to watch it again.
Yeah.
Like if they enjoyed it, so they can just try to make more money off the small fan base they already have, because they know nobody else is gonna watch it. All right. Well, you want to do a little who would win of the week, Andy?
Yeah, we can jump into that.
So no, I don't know if you had heard last episode. We started a new segment called "Who Would Win of the Week."
I didn't
And so
see
we've got
the. Sorry, you go.
No, you go.
All right. Well, I didn't make it through the entire thing, but I did see that. It's nice. It's cool.
Yeah. So this week, I think we've got a pretty good one. Andrew and I talked about it. Who would win of the week? Well, this one's a little tricky because I actually have to go against what I said last week. Because last week I said no weapons. Oh, I'll say who it is, and then we'll discuss it as a team.
Okay.
Rick from Rick and Morty versus Doctor Strange. Who would win of the week
Good
in a
matchup.
fight?
Yeah.
But I think you have to give Rick his
portal gun.
portal gun.
Mm-hmm.
The way I look at Rick, though, is like Rick's Batman.
Yeah. He doesn't necessarily need anything, right? He can just use whatever's around him. But I think that...
So it's up to you. I think it'd be fair to give him his portal gun in a fight
I think
versus Doctor
if we
Strange.
give Rick Sanchez the portal gun and we give Doctor Strange his ring that like can do those portals and stuff, and the time thing too, because they can both do some time shit.
I don't even think he'd use the portal gun, though. I mean,
no, you know what? I agree, but you never know if Doctor Strange starts like opening up portals and grabbing like different shit or like
going to different universes and realities, like
fight fire with fire, right?
Yeah, they could. I don't know. So we're saying portal gun. He can have it. Doesn't have to use it. Correct?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Portal gun can have it. Doesn't have to use it. Let's start with Andy. Who would win of the week? What do you got?
Well, I've been thinking about this a little bit, and it's a tough call. It's a lot tougher than I initially thought because, you know, in Rick and Morty, we see Rick do basically anything, even if he's got nothing. But if you look at the actual abilities of Rick and Doctor Strange, they're pretty similar. And I think that...
I agree.
I think that Rick... because of the show Rick and Morty and like that whole platform, you know, we see Rick be a lot more ruthless, but I think that Doctor Strange got that shit in him. Like, I think he could.
Yeah, he can be savage. He can get nasty.
Like, I mean, in the comics and stuff, if we're going there, you know, I mean, he does shit. He like does shit with against the devil, and I mean, he's messing with demons and like kind of, you know, grotesque things like that. We're obviously not going to see that in the MCU, but if you're familiar with the MCU, what I'll say is, if you recall that part in Thor Ragnarok where when like Loki shows up, Doctor Strange portals him and traps him or whatever. Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange is not afraid to do what needs to be done. So I'm telling you, I mean, obviously we know that about Rick. We know Rick has no qualms about fucking anybody up, fucking anything up. So, I mean, if they're going up against each other, I think that Doctor Strange does have it in him to, you know, get down and dirty, like possibly kill Rick Sanchez if that's where this is going.
Yeah, no, it's a fight to the death.
Okay, here we go.
Or I guess one of them could tap out, but that
I don't think so, because that's the other thing. Both of those guys have pretty big egos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I don't.
So you're going Doctor Strange? Is what it sounds like.
That's not what I said.
But you got to pick.
He's giving him his props.
No, let's keep talking and then we'll decide.
All right, Noah, let's go to you. Yeah, No, you don't have to give us your winner right now, but let's hear your thought process behind it.
It's a really good matchup because Doctor Strange is like, I believe he's supposed to be one of the most powerful heroes, and like you're saying, like he doesn't have, he has it in him to, you know, win that battle. But the thing is with Rick, dude, it's just that there's just, even with like the it's the Saw episode where like someone stands near him and he literally has like a force field in his spine that like he has stuff like he is so planned. Like I just don't think it doesn't matter what Doctor Strange does, because I think he's literally Batman, man.
That's a great point.
He always has like a backup to it. Like even when Morty accidentally kills him, I mean, yeah, it takes him a little bit to get there, but like the dude technically can't die. And then I don't know if this will factor into the fight, but the dude's got like infinite versions of himself. And as far as I know, I don't know if Doctor Strange does.
Yeah, but Doctor Strange can kind of do the same thing when he goes to other realities. You know, when they go back in time?
He could do that.
Yeah, when they all go back in time, and it's like the person before Doctor Strange who's in charge of the
time gem.
Yeah, the time stone.
I do have a question though. Is this just like they bump into each other on the street and they're like, "Yo, I gotta kill
And-
you," or like
yeah.
it's planned, like they know what's gonna happen on a date.
I think that
that's
it's
what's
more of a.
important.
I think it's more of like it's there's a bounty put out for one of them has to kill the other one. Like it doesn't matter which one wins. The people don't care, but they don't want both of them. So then they're both wherever they are. Doctor Strange is in New York and Rick is wherever Rick resides, and then all of a sudden it's up to them. Not that it would take either of them very long to get to the other one, but
Right.
they just decide. You know what I mean? It's just boom. They maybe neutral location. It doesn't matter. They're just all of a sudden they're gonna kill each other. Here's the thing though that I just thought about because I was super team Rick because I thought the same thing. Like Rick just. Every episode of Rick and Morty is based off of him being so dead to rights fucked. Like, he has no business ever getting out of any situation that he's in, and he gets out of every one. So that's like, when you think about that, how does Rick not win this fight? But I did not even consider this part of it. Think about in Endgame, well, when you look back at the MCU, all the stuff Andrew was talking about, when Iron Man is like, what are the chances? You know what I mean? He can see, Doctor Strange can see the odds of everything in every single scenario of what's going to happen. So Doctor Strange knows instantly. He already knows now. This fight's not even staged yet, and he knows now there's only one scenario where he's going to win, or he knows that there's no scenarios that he's going to win. Like, you know what I mean? He already knows that. So if he knows that but he can't say that, you know what I mean? Because you can't tell somebody how you're going to win. That's why, like, Iron Man doesn't know that what he has to do is, like, die pretty much to save everybody else. Because he couldn't tell him, but Doctor Strange knows that there is one way out of however many billion ways or whatever shit could have gone down that they could take down Thanos. So you gotta think about that. Does he know, like, I'm fucked, Morty's killing me? Or does he know in his head there's one way where he can win, and he can just do that?
Shit.
But I feel like Morty can just as easily figure out a way to... Because Morty can go into those different realities too. This is way deeper than we thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
This is some... You're on a deep mind level.
Here's the thing. To Noah's point, I'm going to say, regardless of the scenario, even if it's a random occurrence and for some reason they start, having this confrontation, Rick preemptively plans for everything. He might not even know that Doctor Strange exists, but he has thought, just in case I run into somebody with the exact abilities as Doctor Strange, this is what I have on me at all times to do that. Doctor Strange doesn't do that. And then, of course, Matthew's point, Doctor Strange can see every possible scenario that would need to happen for him to win. So this is really hard, is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Especially because, like, the last episode of Rick and Morty, he fought a god, and he wasn't even prepared. Like, he just, was like, oh, let's go. Like, that was just on the spot, nothing premeditated.
But he almost lost that fight. Or so it seemed. So it seemed.
Right. But, like, also what Matt said earlier, he was like, there's situations where, like, he seems completely fucked.
Yeah.
But I think even in a lot of those situations, like, he still has a backup to that backup.
Yeah.
Like, he said, like, he is just so prepared. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he himself is kind of a god in the show, right? Like, he runs...
He can pretty much do anything he puts his mind to, as he says.
Yeah.
So what's your take, Matt?
I originally was going to go Rick, but then I thought of the whole... I just live on camera thought of the whole scenario thing.
Yeah.
The probability
that thing was crazy.
thing.
That whole thing was crazy.
And now I don't know if there's an answer unless we see him fight.
I mean, even the way Doctor Strange, his movie ended was kind of crazy. I didn't expect that, where he was just stuck the dude in a loop.
Well, and I feel like to Andrew's point, Rick would have in his mind already a scenario where he might run into somebody like Doctor Strange, even though if he doesn't know Doctor Strange exists, he knows how he'd get out of it. But isn't that how Doctor Strange is too? Doesn't Doctor Strange know that at some point in his life he's gonna meet somebody? Like, isn't it
That would be
I don't
possible.
know if it's not the Doctor Strange movie. It might be one of the Thor movies. Is he in?
He's in Ragnarok, the third Thor movie.
Or somebody at one point, somebody shows up to Doctor Strange's house, and he is sitting there expecting him because he already knows that's going to happen, and already like did the probability of what's going to happen in the scenario in his head in different like alternate times. He's really on his stairs. I can think of it. I don't know. I don't remember which movie it was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I know what you're
exactly.
talking about, though.
Yeah. So I don't know that either of them would ever be actually unprepared to fight the other one.
Shit, that's true. Let's say, for argument's sake, that they both, at the exact same moment, which is possible with these sci-fi type of guys, I think. Unlikely, but possible. So let's say, for argument's sake, that this is what happens. At the exact same moment, they become aware of each other and the idea of this conflict. And so that's the point where they would start to prepare. So I guess which one is going to be prepared faster? And I think that's tough to say because Rick obviously has to build gadgets and such. Or, maybe he can alter something that he's already created. But Doctor Strange, he's got the time stone on at all times. He's got his fucking rings and stuff on at all times. He knows the spells.
Yeah, he definitely has the advantage there.
Yeah.
So which one would be prepared more quickly? That's still tough to say, but
I feel like Rick could.
Shit.
My also deciding factor, I guess, is just that regardless, I mean, although Doctor Strange has crazy abilities, he has limitations. And we've pretty much seen with Rick Sanchez, and he said himself, he doesn't have. It's just whatever he wants. It's literally whatever he wants to do. And I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough.
Man.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, I'm going with the gut, just for the sake of we have to pick somebody who's going to win.
Yeah, we got to lock him in.
I think I'm going Rick. And also, let me throw this out. I think I'm picking Rick for entertainment value because I don't know which one of them would actually win, and we know that Doctor Strange would do what he had to do in order to win. But once Rick, if it was a good battle, once Rick got to that point where he knew he was going to win, he would fuck up Doctor Strange so bad. Like, he would fuck with him. He would embarrass him. Like, you know what I mean? He would just absolutely punish him for even picking the fight. So I think that for an entertainment value, that part of the perspective, if I could see, who I want to win, I guess I would say Rick. So I guess that's what it comes down to, is who you want to win, because there's no way to figure out who would win.
So wow, okay, interesting. I'm still going to base my answer on who I think would win, like for sure.
Okay, but
and
how?
It's tough.
I think if it's random, it's Doctor Strange, and I think if it's planned, it's Rick. Okay. Because Rick is also going to know all that dude's abilities. So he's going to know about his probability, and then he could even put out like a fake plan that he goes by.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm basing like the random encounter off of like the car battery episode where he creates the dude who's as smart as him, and it's a pretty even fight until the end. So and that dude's a bitch compared to Doctor Strange. So I think in a random, they bump into each other and start going at it. I think Doctor Strange might win unless Rick has a gadget up his sleeve. But obviously, I want Rick to win. But I think Doctor Strange would. I think he would win.
Yeah, I think that's
in a random
answer.
In a random. I like that a lot. All
right, I'm locking it in. I'm gonna say my final pick for the winner is going to be Rick, and I'll tell you why. After all the things that we talked about, here's what I think comes down to this moment, is that, oh shit, maybe that won't work either. There's so many layers to this, but I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
Rick, because as we already said a bunch of times, we know that once Doctor Strange realized it would be, it might have to be sort of a dirty fight, he would be willing to go to whatever lengths he has to. That's Rick's starting point. Rick's starting point is kick you in the balls, whereas Doctor Strange would have to get kicked in the balls and then be like, oh, that's how it is? And in that initial moment, Rick would be able to do something really, really, crazy and detrimental to Doctor Strange. So I think that's
I also
why
think
I'm
too,
picking
adding
Rick
on to
in the
that,
end.
like, let's say he kicks him in the balls, I think he instantly grabs the ring and something like
Right.
to handicap Doctor Strange. I don't
Exactly.
think
Any number of things in that
that's a good
moment.
point.
Yeah, I think Rick would go dirty right out the bat, and Doctor Strange would at least attempt a sort of a veil of gentlemanliness before getting into that.
Another thing I was going to say is I feel like Rick, even though everything he does is actually based off of educated guesses and whatnot, I feel like he has a luck factor to him. Like,
Oh,
for
100%.
some reason,
100%.
shit just always goes his way. And he makes a lot of it go his way, but I feel like Doctor Strange could really have him between a rock and a hard place, and he would be able to do something to flip the script. I'm going Rick. I like Noah's point, though, that there could be a difference, planned versus spontaneous.
Yeah, for sure.
But for this, I think I'm going Rick. Andy, you're going Rick. Right? So,
Yeah,
I guess.
I gotta go Rick.
Well, and the other thing, it's just, I don't know. It's just hard to say. I think Rick would have to get himself in the right situation. But the other reason I'm going Rick, and I thought about this while you were talking, and Noah kind of brought it up, not to drag this on longer than it needs to be talked about, but I feel like Rick would be able to create, given the time, again, planning, create some type of planet, world, area where he almost develops an alternate timeline that factors into Doctor Strange's probability percentages of how he's going to win and different scenarios just to fuck with Doctor Strange. That's actually completely irrelevant, and then Doctor Strange isn't going to know what hit him, and next thing you know, Rick's teabagging him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And I also, like how you said, with like Rick's not a gentleman, Doctor Strange is.
Exactly.
And I think that's gonna hinder Doctor Strange. I think after year 2, I think Rick's winning. Like you guys.
I don't know that we'll ever have quite the even.
Yeah.
This is
who
it's
would
a good
win
one.
again?
This is really tough.
Real good.
It got thought of in a pretty much a 30-second phone call between me and Andrew.
It's also cool too, because I mean, because they're both Portal guys.
That's
the
that's
Portal boys.
Yeah,
Portal boys.
Circles.
Somebody's got to make it.
Yeah.
That's a T-shirt.
But also, what I find funny is
Yeah.
when you guys were talking is in last episode is Rick hates time travel. So I feel like he'd be pissed at Doctor Strange just because he thinks and then it relates back to the heist con. He hates heists.
Right.
So he went out of his way to destroy all of that.
Oh, man.
So I think if he becomes aware of Doctor Strange's presence, he's fucking with him.
Yeah.
I
like that. We did have an honorable mention.
Oh yeah.
And almost before we stumbled upon this, the idea was Mr. Potato Head versus
Pistachio Disguisey, who's the
Pistachio
master of disguise.
from the Master of Disguise. And my first reaction was, that's just the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Mm-mm.
I factor in the fact that Pistachio is just one of the stupidest motherfuckers to ever exist, and the fact that he accomplished anything is why that movie is so ridiculously funny, because that's the whole joke. But you're talking about fighting a fucking potato.
But he's
plastic,
a legitimate potato.
When people
play video games,
we're not
they
even
joke oh my god,
necessarily
that dude's so bad. They call him a potato. That dude's a fucking potato. I just killed that dude.
That's
so
a potato.
Easy. Yeah.
We're not even talking about a fist fight necessarily in that situation. We're just talking about I don't know, some kind of other type of contest.
I'm not saying that maybe
contest, I don't know.
I'm not saying that maybe Mr. Potato Head couldn't outsmart Pistachio, but Mr. Potato Head also had to put a fucking cone on him to go across the road and almost fucking died. He's a toy potato. He's dead every time to a human. Even if he had Pistachio so turned around, all it would take was for Pistachio to trip and fall and land on Mr. Potato Head, and he's dead.
He's mashed.
As very passionate about
Yeah.
this.
It's just
Well, that's an honorable mention. You can tell us what you guys
honorable
think
mention,
on
but we
Twitter
still had to
or
go into a little
something,
bit.
But
yeah.
One of these episodes, you should do Buzz vs. Woody.
that's too real, dude. I don't know if I can do that, but I think we should just. It could be kind of fun to briefly mention Toy Story 2, because that was a very formative moment for the three of us.
True.
And I don't remember it. So.
Well, I'll take you back, Matthew. We were. I don't even know how fucking old we were.
I was
maybe 3. You might have been that.
Matt was a fetus. Matt was literally a fetus.
I was a little bit,
And we were at the movies, the three of us, with adult supervision. We didn't just wander in there. It's not 1942. But I don't. Who even knows what we were going to see? But the trailer for Toy Story 2 dropped, and the three of us we were getting up on the chairs screaming, "The boys are back! The boys are back!" Talking about Buzz and Woody, because goddamn, I mean, that's probably my favorite
electric
Pixar movie still. Is like the
especially
original
with the
Toy
last
Story,
one.
but the last Pixar movie.
Last Toy Story.
Oh, the last Toy Story movie? Toy Story 4? Damn, dude. Unreal. Fuck. Those, man. I don't know why Pixar's just become a company that is designed to make you super sad now. It's just designed to make you cry, everything they do. The first...
Dude.
Well, I feel like everything now is sentimental to their viewers.
I made an awful mistake once, and I went with both my sisters and my mom to go see Up. And literally the first, 5-10 minutes of that movie is so depressing, dude. And they're bawling their eyes out next to me. And I'm just, putting my head down, literally just, moving over a couple of seats.
You don't have to hide the tears, Noah. Okay.
Dude, it was... Dude, I'm pretty sure it was Emma, bawling her eyes out, dude. My poor mom's been through a few movies where Emma, I think there's one with a dog where, Emma was straight up, causing it. Yeah, I think it might have been.
Air Bud 2, I'm pretty sure was. Golden Receiver, she started bawling during Golden Receiver. That one gets me every time. I actually legitimately one time cried during one of those movies. Not an Air Bud movie, but remember, because Air Bud was so popular, there were a bunch of
there was a monkey hockey one, I remember.
That's the movie. There were all these movies about animals playing sports, and one of them was this this movie where a monkey played hockey, and I remember being at our aunt's house watching it. All the adults are in the kitchen, and Matthew and I are sitting in this room watching this movie about a monkey that plays hockey, and the monkey was raised on a reserve with a Jane Goodall type, and he's supposed to be getting shipped and moved somewhere, and then he gets lost. His crate falls off the truck, and there's this part in the movie where the monkey is walking alone down a suburban street, and there are houses lining the road. The monkey's walking in the middle of the road. And all these houses are lining it. And the houses just start turning off their lights. And this monkey has nowhere to go. And
it's just so sad.
And it was too much for me. And I started crying. And I ran into the other room. And my face is all red. I'm crying. My mom's like, "What's wrong?" And I can't even speak. And she goes, "Andrew, take a minute. What is wrong?" I can't struggling to get the words out. "Andrew, you have to tell me what's wrong. What's going on?" I go, "The monkey doesn't have a house." And it was so sad. Oh, that poor monkey. So I never cried during Air Bud, but I did get emotional during
the hockey monkey.
During Hockey Monkey.
There was actually another movie. There was another movie that we all... Oh! Andrew wasn't there, were you?
No, I wasn't there. Oh my god, I can't believe you guys saw this. Did you stay for say what the movie was in a second, but did you guys stay for the whole thing?
Yep, we watched the entire thing. Do you know what I'm talking about, Noah?
I have no idea what's going on.
Jerry took you and I to the Regal to see... It was called
Epic Movie.
Yeah, Epic Movie.
Oh, dude, I tell my friends about this all the time.
Yeah.
Dude.
and I was
They
young
literally-
as shit.
We were so young. Like, I was obviously a little bit older than that, but still way out of my, like,
Way too
Jerry
young.
knew it. I remember at one point Jerry was laughing because he knew that it was not... Dude, the best part is instead of Captain Jack Sparrow, it's Captain Jack Swallows. And
Oh my
his
God.
entire ship is like... It's like a scene from a hip hop movie, and like instead of them washing cars, they're washing the boat, and it's
And it's like a bunch of
and
like
literally
half naked women,
it's
like in pirate like
soap
costumes.
everywhere.
Yeah, that's like the only scene I remember from it though. I haven't seen it since, but I remember it being like so bad.
It was so bad, and I just remember Jerry being like, you just see on his face, he was like, "We should not be here."
No,
And it was so funny.
And we stayed the whole movie. And
Yeah,
he was
we watched
like,
the whole movie.
How did you
He
guys
knew he
stay
fucked
for the
up.
whole
He knew he fucked up.
movie?
Because he was probably it was probably funny to him. He
It
was
was
like, whatever, man. I
hilarious.
paid the $30. Like they've already seen enough of it at this point.
Okay.
Might as well just sit.
You know
Oh,
what?
no,
I
don't.
wasn't gonna. I couldn't believe it until you said the thing about getting your money's worth. Then I was like, oh, okay, yep. That's why you guys definitely sat through the whole movie. Holy shit, that movie.
Yeah,
I still have not watched that movie. I haven't seen the whole thing, but that is that's a raunchy movie to take
Oh
children
yeah,
to.
yeah.
I
There's that
don't.
shit with,
I
like,
don't
Willy
believe
Wonka
that it
in
wouldn't have been rated R. Is the thing that I don't understand.
It
Is
wasn't
it rated R? I don't know.
couldn't have
Why,
been. It
why
couldn't
would
have
he have
been.
thought that it was? It had to have only been PG-13.
Yeah, you're
because
right.
why would he have brought us to it if it was R?
I don't know. Maybe
But
he
the only
didn't
reason
know.
I don't, why would he have brought it to us? Why would we have gone anyway? I don't know. I want to know what the
don't know.
marketing campaign for that movie was, to where anybody would think that it was okay to bring. I was probably
Yeah,
7
we should
years
look
old.
Up the trailer. We should look. Up
I
the
was probably
trailer for
7.
that.
Noah was probably like 9
Probably
or 10.
9.
Maybe
Yeah,
like
I
was
maybe
thinking
8 and
9.
10.
Yeah, that makes
Dude,
sense.
it was so bad. It was so bad.
It was. That's yeah.
I'm pretty sure your dad put his head, like, he was just, like, covering his face at one point laughing because there was just this... And I'm pretty sure the worst part is that, like, we probably didn't
No,
understand half
I
the
know
movie,
for I
but
know I
we
didn't
did
understand
not.
it because I don't remember it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
Oh, you want to know what else actually? Was it that movie where there's like a spin-off of Narnia in it?
Yeah, 100%. Mr. Tumnus.
I
He gets
remember the half
plowed
man,
in the
half
head
goat.
with a beer. He gets he
Like
he goes, yo,
he was
catch.
he had like girls. Remember he had like a hot tub in his
Yeah,
crib.
yeah. He goes. He had a TV on the one girl's head.
Yeah,
Shining
yeah.
when she's shining my hooves.
Yeah.
And then it goes down. She's shining his hooves.
Yeah. Yeah, that was some movie, man. Oh no.
There was
Wow.
man. Those were weird. It was a weird time when
Yeah.
those like kind of those awful parody movies were coming out. I can't believe they made so many of them. You know what? I guess
Oh.
it's all because of the scary movie movies.
And I don't even think that. Yeah, I mean, no, I like the scary movie movies, but
I
they're
like
not
the
as
first one.
heavily parody. Like that
No.
movie was strictly based on other movies, where a
Yeah.
scary movie just did a lot of funny things that other movies did poorly,
Right.
or whatever. They would make fun of other movies, not even poorly, but they would just, mock other movies.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's true to an extent.
It was pretty much like all the things that were like big at that time. So Narnia,
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, because then it even went to like
Harry
another
Potter.
category.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Because Hermione's pregnant.
Yeah,
and
I
like
forgot about
that. That is
Ron's
this
covered
fucking
in acne.
Yeah. Well, that kind of, and back to what you're saying, Andrew. Then there was a lot of, within the past 5 years, I feel like they got away from that and they made a lot of, scary movie ones. Like not like us, but like Paranormal Activity, like kind of like spoofs.
And then
Sure.
they did superhero movie.
With
Yeah.
Drake Bell,
Yeah.
where he's Dragonfly
Mhm.
Man.
Yeah.
All I
forgot about
remember from that movie is the actress who played the mom in Happy Days, who I think she's still alive, but she was obviously super, super old to, like, in superhero movie. Because Kevin Hart's in that movie, too. Do you guys remember that? He's, like, Drake
Yeah,
Bell's
he's
best
the best friend.
And
Which is funny because the age difference.
that's a great point. Black don't crack.
Like he's supposed to be a teenager.
Yeah. Well,
Josh
they gave him a
Peck
hat.
Came to Canisius
so-
once. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Josh
yeah.
Peck came to Canisius once, gave a speech.
How was that?
I don't know. Didn't go.
Didn't go.
Oh,
Is the
my
only
God.
famous person who's ever came to Canisius. Like, you know how other schools have concerts, and yeah, we had like a 1 hour Josh Peck speech, and all I know is that it was very limited seating, but I was able to get a ticket, and then somebody else really wanted to go, and I was like, you know what, I really don't care. You can have my ticket, and that was it.
Gave up your
But
one
I
shot.
don't know why I chimed in there and said that, but I just wanted to.
Man, if
Um,
can you imagine if Nickelodeon had like their own Disney Plus type thing? We'd be watching the Drake and Josh reboot right now. They got a fucking apartment together. I bet that'd
An
be good.
adult,
If
they should. They
Yeah.
could probably make a funny show that's like a TVMA version of Drake and Josh,
without a
based
doubt.
for like the guys who grew up watching Drake and Josh to watch.
I think you're absolutely right,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, they could
There's
get
a lot
everybody
of-
back.
there's a
I
lot
mean,
of like.
especially with like, I mean, people are going crazy over Avatar right now because it's
Oh
on
yeah,
Netflix.
the last
Yeah.
Airbender.
Just because that's like it's just nostalgic for them. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's
Oppo,
cool.
yep.
Up, yep.
But a lot of people are just watching it because it's just nostalgic.
Yeah. Well, that's how a lot of stuff is like that. I mean, that's, I've watched a few movies like that on Disney Plus, like just old, like the old like '90s movies that you used to be able to watch on TV on Disney before it was just complete shit.
Like the Disney Channel
Um,
originals.
Yeah, not even those, but
What?
just other movies
Before
that were
that?
on. That were Disney movies. Not that this one really is even in the same category, but I watched the Inspector Gadget movies.
Really?
Those are good.
Yeah, just because like I don't know this was before I went back to work, like early quarantine. You're not seeing anybody. Nobody was bending the rules yet, right? You're sitting there, and you're like, well, I slept until 3 p.m. I know it's 4 a.m., but I got nothing to wake up for, and I'm not tired yet, so I might as well watch Inspector Gadget or put it on and try to fall asleep, and then it ends, and you're like, damn, it's been another 2 hours.
Dang.
So.
I just want to say real quick while we're on the subject of like old Disney movies. There's this Disney Channel original movie called The Color of Friendship. Are you guys familiar with this at all? It came out
If
early.
you've seen it, I've probably seen it, but you have to refresh.
It came
my
out
memory.
like 99 or 96. It came out early, like when we were babies or before we were born. And it's a Disney Channel original movie. Aired on Disney Channel, 8 p.m. 8:30 when
Loved
those
it.
movies went on.
Yeah,
Because you beg your parents to stay up. It's like, oh, they're
and
in the new
the
movie.
screen would come in.
Screen comes
and it
in.
was-
You got all the
yeah.
kids jumping through the
Yep,
film and
jumping
stuff.
on the yeah.
Let's watch a Disney Channel movie. I got to say it like that so we don't get pulled for copyright. So there's this movie. It's called The Color of Friendship. Takes place in the 60s. This girl from South Africa who's white, she does a student exchange program. And, I don't know if you guys know much about South Africa, but there's a lot of racial tension there to this day. And back then, it was even more so. So she, does this study abroad program, and her host family is black. So all kinds of crazy stuff happens. But the craziest moment is in The Color of Friendship. These two girls who are like 11 or 12, maybe 13, they are like just talking to each other in the one girl's new room, and they say the N-word. Not once, but twice. It goes because the girl from South Africa is like, for whatever reason, listing off all of the racist names they have for black people in South Africa, and she says like this really bad one, and the black girl's like, "Does that mean the N-word?" And she goes, "Oh no, I would never call you the N-word," and like all this stuff. And I was like,
and they fire back and forth on Disney Channel.
on Disney Channel, and you can
Dude, that's insane.
can you
I'm-
imagine watching? But I don't know if you guys know this,
They
but
still air that one in Dalton, Georgia. They still play that movie every Sunday. Yeah.
after church, you get out of church, you go watch A Color of Friendship.
Oh yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, there were so many good Disney Channel original movies that
Excellent
I
ones.
couldn't even tell you the names of that I feel like just are nowhere to be found. Don't even exist anymore.
I will tell you exactly what they are. I've got such a great portion.
Yeah, I
of
know.
my
I don't have a good
memory is
brain.
dedicated to Disney Channel original movies. like an embarrassing.
No, I mean, I don't even
brain.
remember like what they're about. I just know that there used to be good movies that no longer like exist for my viewing pleasure anymore or my nostalgic. That's what they should do with Disney Plus. I know they have a couple of
They're
them.
basically
Another
all
funny
on
movie.
there. Almost all of them are on there. They've got the most famous one is the one where the kid is a leprechaun who like, plays
Luck of the
basketball.
Irish?
Luck of the Irish.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's probably
yeah.
the most famous one. But there's this one called The 13th Year, where this kid is a mermaid, but he doesn't
Yeah.
know it until he turns 13, and he starts
I
like
remember that
growing
movie.
fins and scales and
Yeah.
shit. The best part about that movie is because obviously all these movies are so kind of like they rely heavily on cliches and like character cliches and dynamics and stuff like that. And so the kid, he's like the most popular guy in school. He's a captain of the fucking swim team. And when he starts
Classic.
to turn into a
Just like in
mermaid,
real life, that's the that's the high school leader. Swim
well, nobody
captain.
fucked with me when I was, I was on the swim team.
Yeah,
back in the day,
exactly.
That's
That's
all
what
I'm
I'm
saying. But the so when he starts turning into a mermaid, the only person who can help him is the nerd of the school who is super into marine biology, and the kid's name is Jesse. And the best part about this movie is everybody shits on Jesse the whole movie. And I'm talking like fucking Jurassic Park sized shit. And the worst moments are when this fucking kid does it to himself and everybody ignores it. There's a part in this movie where like they're looking at fucking tide pools or whatever, like little tide pools, and Jesse's like,
Yeah.
it's like its own little ecosystem. There's all this stuff. And so, the mermaid kid looks in there, he's like, wow, I never realized that. You've got, these hermit crabs and these strunch things. They kind of got their own little friend group all going on. And Jesse just goes, yeah, not that I would know. Okay, well, I'm turning into a fucking mermaid, so can you, like, help me out? Let's just ignore that. Like, oh, boy, this poor Jesse kid.
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesse. Yeah. All right. Yeah. What about? There's so many. I don't want to get into anymore. I've got to. I think we've been going for like over an hour today, haven't we?
Good, I hope so.
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
longer ones. I
No,
like
for
these
sure.
podcasts.
Good.
But I want to make sure, Noah, I feel like you texted me. Did we get to some things that you wanted to talk about?
We're good.
Yeah.
Are you
I mean,
sure?
that's
We're
fine.
good,
If
we're
there's
good.
more,
Toss
I
about
commented.
Noah.
I think I commented. There was one that Matt said something in one of the previous episodes, and I remembered it earlier, then I forgot it, so it's just useless at this point.
well, now I want to know.
That's
Was it the
alright.
word like? Because you can find that in many of the episodes.
No.
Yeah.
When it comes back to me, I'll text you.
I mean, you'll be on again. So just start
Well, that's-
tailing a list of all the
Well, that's
things
what I
you
was
want
gonna
to.
say. This is a nice first, like, because next time hopefully I'll have my setup upgraded, so it'll be, like,
Oh,
step
just you
up.
wait. Just
Yeah,
you wait.
yeah. Once the webcams get back into stock after this pandemic.
Yeah, everybody's buying webcams. Webcams
Yeah.
and toilet paper, that's what's going to cure COVID-19. You heard it here
Dude,
first.
the toilet paper.
You take a
is
picture of
weird.
yourself wiping your ass.
Yeah.
That'll save everybody.
I
You
heard
know that.
on the radio there the other day, it was an ad by Charmin, and it was like, in a crisis like these, the last thing you should be worried about is having enough toilet paper. Like, it was like super sincere, them saying
Yeah.
that they're working really hard to make more toilet paper. And I'm like, how are we? I thought the toilet paper shit was over. Like, it happened for like a week. I understand that, but I thought then it was kind of like more of a joke than anything. Apparently, there's still people out there wiping their ass with like throw rugs and shit. And
I don't know.
you know,
I think it's calmed down a little bit. I think it just took them
just
some time.
severely underestimated how much people shit.
no. Well, that's the thing
Because-
is,
Well, when you
I
got
never
Taco Bell
realized-
orders like you
yeah,
know, what do you
$20.
expect
When
to
you're
have?
ordering $20 for the Taco Bell, you can definitely put in a shift on the toilet.
But even on CBS, they've been airing these Charmin commercials because they have the Charmin bears, the cartoon bears, and the cartoon bears are like singing "My Hiney's clean." We're gonna get pulled
Yeah.
for copyright a lot on this episode.
I'm
But,
Charmin clean. Yeah, I
I'm
got you. Just
Charmin
throw one.
clean.
Now
My
that we're there,
hiney-
we might as well
my
go again.
hiney's clean.
Yeah.
And so in the new commercial that they've been running is these bears very solemnly just like sitting on the couch, like hands folded, like watching the news. I'm like, oh
I
boy,
don't-
shit's getting
I
real
don't
for the
watch that much
Charmin
live
bears.
TV.
Yeah, well, I can't blame you. They've been, man. Yeah, they've been. I'm just saying that's where things are. It's it's weird. It's weird to see the Charmin bears like that. I don't know. I feel like at that point, you got to get the bears out of there. You got to pull the bears.
You got to pull the plug.
Pull the plug on the bears.
And at the end of the day, all we can really do is just try and get more eyes on the project. That's the takeaway.
Hashtag Scoob.
$20.
Only $20. You can watch
it.
If you were with your family of 4 and you wanted to go see Scoob in theaters, it would cost you probably over $40.
Oh,
Tickets $12 a piece, and then maybe a little bit of popcorn. Maybe somebody's pretzel bite guy, some Twizzlers,
milk duds.
You're talking probably $60 now that my head's in the right place.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you can't pay $20 to sit in your house and watch Scoob? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I can tell you that. I can sit here right here and tell you that.
And with that being said, check out my GoFundMe. It's titled Matt Wants to Watch Scoob. Anything helps. I'm only trying to raise $20. And yeah. All right. Well, I think that was a pretty good episode. Noah, thank you again for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of good takes, specifically on the Rick and Doctor Strange.
That's my
discussion
forte.
that we had. Yeah, that's why I liked that one for you, because I knew that those are two things that you're knowledgeable on and they interest you. So I think that was really good. And thanks again for listening, guys. Make sure follow us on Twitter. Check us out on YouTube. Noah, you have any closing remarks for the fans, or?
Just remember, 2 in the cooler, and gotta get more eyes on that project.
Oh, that's the other thing is Noah was one of the original. He knows the original story behind 2 in the cooler. I know we've told it on the podcast, but he, I had a 2 in the cooler moment the other day. Sorry, I know I just said we were leaving, but I'll throw it in real quick.
Yeah.
I was sitting outside. I got home from work at 4, and I grabbed a cooler, and I sat in my chair. Little cooler, just a small guy, just me, myself. Sat out by the pool. Sun went down. I ordered food. Nobody else was home. And then I went in the hot tub, and I had the cooler with me the whole time, carrying the cooler around. And I finally got out of the hot tub. I'm all chlorine-y, pruny. I've been in there for so long. Probably sunburnt. And I'm about to go take a shower. And at this point, our parents had gotten home. There was a couple people over also. They were having a fire. So I'm about to go get in the shower, and they were just going in from the fire. And I was literally out of the bathing suit, in a towel, about to get in the shower, and I realized the fire's not completely out yet, and I left one in the cooler. And I put shorts on, and I went out, and I sat down in front of the fire, and I had that last one in the cooler.
That's good.
It's called living by the brand.
Yeah, you literally can't.
You can't.
There's no way you could have done. You couldn't have taken that shower.
Nope, not.
I wouldn't have been able. Well, that's my thing is I don't like to go back to bonfires once I shower because I can't stand the smell of smoke in my hair when I'm trying to sleep. So I had to put the shower off, finish the last in the cooler, and then go from there.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, again,
that's
Andy,
dedication.
anything?
I'm just gonna say that's dedication. That is a great way to end. Everybody needs to be looking out for their own 2 in the cooler moments, okay? Because it's out there. There's opportunities everywhere for 2 in the cooler moments. You got to be brave enough to grab them. That's the takeaway from this. Second takeaway, watch Scoob. Let's get some more eyes on the project. Follow us on Twitter. Watch the shit on YouTube. Try and find my Twitter. And if anybody does want to live tweet Scoob from that account, let me know and we'll do it. Noah, thanks again for coming on. Matthew, let's get the hell out of here. What do you say?
Have a good one, guys.